I'm a former CIA officer. Something is going very, very wrong in Russia right now. And even though the US intelligence community has not declassified any information or released any public statements about what might be happening, these super wealthy businessmen who have made their fortunes in the last 2 decades largely off of state contracts and close personal relationships with Putin and other members of the Russian government, they're starting to die under mysterious circumstances. We've seen a number of them die in the last 6 months to a year. He was found dead in his home in March 2023 of unknown causes. There was no official cause of death released. A lot of speculation online is that he was poisoned. He had been stabbed multiple times. And there's just no good reason for this. He's a billionaire, okay? You don't need to stab a billionaire. He's not going to fight back. You know, billionaires have bodyguards. So why would somebody want to, murder this guy? He was one of Putin's longest and closest allies. They know all the secrets. They know how the money is laundered. They know how the bribes work. They know how the kickbacks work. And if you target the oligarch, but you know that he has family members who are abroad, it's a way to send a message to other oligarchs inside of Russia that are also close to Putin. They know about all the shady deals that have gone down over the last 20 years that have enriched them and other members of the Russian elite. It's just something to think about. And maybe that is why the intelligence community is paying attention to it, and maybe that is. Why are we going to start to see more information released about what really happened to these guys? If they start to become disloyal, or if they start to defect and leave Russia, or try to leave Russia, they could expose all these secrets.
Ow.
So it is in the best interest of the Russian government to keep them in line and keep them loyal. And if they're not loyal, to get rid of them. And then a guy named Danila Bagrov, who was found dead in his home with stab wounds. They go back almost 20 years. He made his fortune largely in the energy sector. There could be some other explanation for all these deaths. First of all, if you look at the way that Putin has treated people who have fallen out of favor with him, they often end up dead or in jail. Many of these oligarchs have become very wealthy, and they have great power and influence inside of Russia. If they start to become disloyal to Putin, or question Putin's authority, or question the war in Ukraine, Putin has shown in the past that he will get rid of them. I mean, we've seen it. We saw it with Mikhail Khodorkovsky, for example, who spent 10 years in a Russian jail because he pissed off Vladimir Putin. We also saw it with people like Sergei Magnitsky, who basically got screwed by the Russian government and died in a Russian jail. But the fact that they re-happening so frequently, and they involve some of Putin's closest allies and oligarchs, makes us wonder if there is more to the story. But since the war in Ukraine began, he and his family have been sanctioned by the US, UK, and European governments. I can tell you from my experience of 20 years in the intelligence community and operations against Russia that something is not right in Putin's world. Why do I say this? Because we are seeing multiple Russian oligarchs. Now, some of the deaths are suspicious because they come at the same time as the war in Ukraine and shortly after the invasion of Ukraine. And the cause of death is either listed as unknown or they died suddenly without any, previous health issues. So it starts to make us wonder, is there something more nefarious going on here? He was the head of a major Russian oil company called Zarubisneft. He fell out of a window at a Moscow hospital where he had been taken for an undisclosed illness. It's hard to fall out of a window when you on the 6th floor and there's no balcony. I mean, you could fall out of a window if the window was open and you were leaning out. But otherwise, yeah, it's pretty hard to fall out of a 6th floor window. He was hospitalized with what was reported to be a gunshot wound, but then he died under mysterious circumstances. Are these oligarchs dying because they were close to Putin and he wants them dead, or is there another explanation? One such oligarch who fits this bill is a man named Igor Skirko. Another oligarch who died under mysterious circumstances is a man named Ravil Maganov. And then you have a guy named Leonid Shkelberg. He was found dead in his home. And then you have Yuri Voronov found dead in his home. No apparent cause of death. Now, is this necessarily proof that something is going wrong in Russia? No, it isn't. I think there's probably more to the story. Now, here's why I think that. Secondly, many of these oligarchs have information that could be used against Putin and the Russian government. Thirdly, many of these oligarchs have family members who are living outside of Russia. So there's lots of reasons why the Russian government would want to deal with these guys. But it doesn't mean that they actually are behind all of these deaths. If you want to know more about what's really going on in Russia, check out this playlist over here. I'll see you next time.